If your body looks the same year after year and you finally want to look like someone who trains, but you find it all a bit confusing, this video is for you. If you're new here, I'm Lauren Round, an online fitness coach with a background in health psychology. This channel is all about building the strong, lean body that you've always wanted and actually building the habits and mindset to make it last. So make sure you subscribe for more videos like this. Before we dive in, I want to take you back to my journey because I trained my arse off for years and years and years. I'm talking 5 sessions a week, 3 leg days a week, 4 sets of everything, 6 to 7 exercises every session, sometimes 90-minute, 2-hour long leg sessions, and my physique looked like this. Couldn't tell that I lifted, not really. Every single year I looked the same, my physique didn't change, and that was exhausting, it was frustrating. And I'm left thinking, why am I putting all this work in? Yet I look around the gym, see all these other women with nice developed shoulders, developed glutes, developed legs, they're strong, they're fit, they're confident, and you can tell that they train hard. Whereas my physique just looked the same every single year, and I felt like I was going round and round in circles. I would always do another fat loss phase. I thought that was the magic answer. Maybe if I just lose enough fat, I'll finally look toned enough and finally have some muscle to show off. This is not a good place to be when you know you're capable of so much more. And I don't know about you, but I don't want an average physique. I don't want to look average or be average. I want to be the best. Along the way, I've made a lot of mistakes and I've learnt from them. And this is my current physique. We're going to debunk some myths and go through some mistakes that I made and that you are currently making that are keeping you stuck in the same body year after year. You come online and everyone's like, body recomp, fat loss phase, reverse diet, lean bulk, and it's like, what phase should I be doing? What should I actually be doing to move the needle right now and actually change my physique based on where I'm at currently? So you're going to the gym, training hard, but your nutrition isn't dialed in, it's not where it's supposed to be, and so things don't move forward, things don't progress. Yeah, you might build a little bit of muscle in the gym, you might feel a bit stronger, but when you look in the mirror and compare yourself to last year, you still look the same, and that's frustrating. And can get you in that mindset of, like, what is the point in all of this? It starts to feel a little bit effortless. And yes, of course, we are here for our mental health, we're here for our physical health, for strong bones to protect ourselves when we are old ladies. But of course, we want to see some progress, we want to see results in the mirror and actually build a body that we are fucking obsessed with. Of course, that is what we want, that is why we are here. So we don't need to deny that it is frustrating when you don't see your body change. So this whole idea of body recomp, we're going to go into that in the next section, but not everyone should be body recomping, and I'll tell you why. You don't finish your fat loss phase. Not because you're not capable, not because there's anything wrong with you, but because you are taking the wrong approach again and again and again and expecting a different result. I have a whole video on my channel about why I keep starting over and how to actually break that cycle in fat loss, and you can check it out here. But your approach is either too restrictive, where you literally hate your life and want to bite off your own arm every day because you were so hungry, which doesn't get you very far at all. But maybe you don't go that extreme, you do finish your fat loss phase, you're actually quite good at dieting, but you don't progress to another phase. So after you finish your fat loss, things just start to unravel. You kind of start winging it again, you get a bit complacent, you're like, oh, the work's done now, I've done my job, I can have a little treat. Wrong. We can't go back to everything that we did before and expect not to go back there. We need to keep progressing. Something else that's holding you back, that held me back for so many years, is being scared of eating more and getting bulky. My girl, I wish it was that easy to build muscle. I really do, but it's not. Getting bulky would take steroids for a woman, or years and years and years and years and years of going through building phases, cutting down, building again. Building consistently, lifting heavy, following a structured diet. This fear is really getting in the way of your physique development because you stay stuck in that dieting mindset, which then impacts your performance in the gym, your recovery, how you build muscle, which then impacts how your physique develops over time. If you're not getting the right amount of fuel, your physique will never change. This was a big reason why my physique didn't change for years. Yes, I looked somewhat toned, I did have a bit of definition, I didn't really have the shape that I wanted to, and my body did not reflect everything that I worked for in the gym because I used to lift heavy. You can train as hard as you want, but until you're eating the right foods, the right amount of foods, then your body is never going to change. So The real question that we all want answered: what bloody phase should I be in? So this whole notion of body recomp and turning fat into muscle, yes, you can change your body composition. No, you cannot turn fat into muscle. How your body burns fat and how your body builds muscle are two completely different systems. So you can't turn fat into muscle. So if you have 5 kg to lose, 10 kg to lose, 15 kg to lose, your priority should be a fat loss phase. In this phase, your priority is weight training, so following a structured plan in the gym that's hitting all of your muscle groups 2 to 3 times a week. It's mostly compound lifts. You're progressively overloading every single week in every single session, and there's structure to the session and to your workouts. I've actually got a free 3-day training plan that you can access in the description. With your nutrition, stop setting yourself up to fail on low calories that make you want to eat your own arm and scream at all of your family members every day and want to give up after 3 weeks. Instead, you need to accept it's going to take a bit longer than you want it to take. And that is just life. All good things take time. The body, your relationship, your career. So you may as well strap in and stop going back to 1200 calories or fasting or approaches that just are not sustainable for you in your life. So, easy way for you to get your deficit calories is take your body weight in pounds times that by 12. And you're going to set your macros. Protein, you're going to get your body weight in pounds times that by 0.8. That is your starting point. Fats, really important for your hormone health and keep you satiated and full. You're going to times your body weight in pounds by 0.3. That is your starting point. And the rest are going to be carbs. But let's set some clear expectations for how long this is going to take. You can lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. If you've got 15 pounds to lose, that's going to be 3 months of work. If you've got 30 pounds to lose, that can be anywhere between 15 to 30 weeks. Again, depending on your life, if you've got holidays coming up, your starting point, if you've dieted before. Just need to be realistic here of how long these phases are going to take. Instead of committing to something unsustainable for 3 weeks and falling off for 2, we may as well accept it's not going to be overnight. When you've got a realistic idea of how long it's going to take, you're not going to be disappointed, you know what to expect, and you know what you're in for. Okay, what about when you get to the end of this fat loss phase, you're already quite lean? Where do we go from there? Because this is where so many women fall off. You either let standard slip, you let habit slip because you feel like the work is done now and you can just go back to having all those treats at the weekend and on a weeknight, and then slowly things start to unravel. Or you stay stuck in that dieting mindset and not wanting to increase food, not wanting to increase calories because of that fear of weight gain that we spoke about earlier on. And listen, sis, I get it. I lived there for years. Literally stayed on 1700 calories all year round. And that's not starvation. I know women who have done a lot worse, but that's still a deficit. You're still constantly trying to lose weight, constantly worrying about the scale, constantly trying to eat low calorie foods, and that has taken you away from everything that you want, which is getting stronger in the gym, building a bigger, stronger, athletic body, feeling more free around food, feeling more at ease around food. So I fully get that fear, but we need to learn to move through it. If you've never dedicated any time to sitting at maintenance, and I mean true maintenance, not letting everything slide, but actually showing up every single day, following through with the habits that make you feel good, like planning out your meals each week, having meals prepared each week, saying no to things at the weekend, being mindful of that, and actually taking into account all the plans you've got coming up. That is true maintenance, alongside following a structured plan in the gym, training hard, progressing all of your lifts every single week. If you've never spent time there, then you 100% need to master that skill. Yes, for your physique development, because this is what I looked like when I went intuitive for 6 months after years and years of deficits and tracking calories. So I went from this to this, not bulking, not eating excess food, not gaining loads of body fat. Honestly, this was one of the biggest turning points in my whole fitness journey, because you finally get over that fear of food and the dieting mindset and the need to always stay small and be skinny and not wanting to put any weight on, which is the exact thing you need to get over if you want to look like you actually train and you want to overcome all of that food noise. This phase is actually underrated on the internet. I don't hear anybody talking about this. Everyone is either in a cut or a bulk, and no one forgets that lovely sweet spot in between where you can actually build a good amount of muscle mass without gaining extra fat. So for some quick maths, you're going to times your body weight in pounds by 14 or 15 to get your maintenance, and you're going to play around with that. Maintaining your weight is actually one of the hardest skills. We see this time and time again in research. Lots of people can lose the weight, and keeping it off is the hardest part. So again, this really is a skill that needs to be mastered. It's not just a phase that you wing, it is a goal that you work towards consistently every day, because you're still having to say no to things at weekends, you're having to change your habits long term and your lifestyle long term, so we can't just go back to our old ways. And you're still having to deal with normal life stresses, managing hunger, managing cravings, all of that jazz. So hang out here for at least 6 months. That's what I did, and those extra calories are going to come from carbs. So where do we go after here then? We've done a fat loss phase, we've done a maintenance phase, we've hung out there for a while, we've built some good muscle mass, we've built some good habits. Now you want to take things to the next level, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm in a lean building phase. Sounds exciting, like we get loads of extra calories. I've actually just got about 150 extra calories above my maintenance, just over 2,000 at the moment. Again, getting those extra calories from carbs, which is fun, by the way. We get more oats, we get a bagel, we get more sourdough, we get more pasta, we get a bit of extra ice cream. So this is the fastest and most optimal way to build muscle mass, and just to get the most out of a building phase, is to eat in a slight surplus. But it does come with a caveat: you will gain body fat in this phase. Unlike maintenance, where you're not going above your maintenance, so you won't be gaining extra body fat, in this phase you will be gaining extra body fat, because you can't gain muscle mass without gaining body fat when you're in a surplus. So that's just something we have to deal with at the end of a building phase. And again, we need all those habits dialed in from the fat loss phase, from the maintenance phase, because in this phase, we want to just get fat and start eating absolutely everything and go on a big rampage and going back to our old weights. We need our habits to be locked in, because it's very easy to get fat when you're already eating over your calories on purpose. The goal is to minimise fat gain by staying dialed in with your nutrition, staying dialed in at the weekends, and of course we are always going to be progressively overloading our training in every single phase. We need a lot of patience for this phase, in any phase to be honest, but with muscle building, it's not like fat loss where you can start seeing the changes in 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Building muscle takes a long time, so I wouldn't halt around with doing a muscle building phase for 3 months. I would commit to at least 6 to 9 months, which sounds scary. That's a lot of time, but that time is going to pass anyway. I'm building for the next 9 months. 1 month has already gone, so I've only got 8 to go. Now you know exactly what phase you should be in and where you should put your focus. Because if you're not in a phase, then you're just floating along, you're kind of coasting, you're not really growing, not really changing, not really evolving, not just your physique, but in your mindset and your development too. Because every stage comes with different challenges, which requires you to grow even more. I hope that you enjoyed this video and you took something from it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!